Hello and welcome to Med4Care. I am Dr. Melnikova, and today I will give you some advice on how to structure the diet against diabetes. Let us find out together what it is. Nutrition advice against diabetes. In this video, I will show you some tips to improve our diet and eat better to avoid diabetes or to avoid complications if we already have this disease. These tips are therefore useful both for diabetics and for those who have a little high blood sugar and want to avoid becoming diabetic. The blood sugar. First of all, let's see how the damage to our body due to blood sugar is formed when its concentration in the blood, or blood sugar, has excessive fluctuations, with a trend as in this graph. This, on the other hand, is what happens when the amount of sugar in the blood is kept stable over time. If we manage to keep blood sugar levels stable enough over time, the damage caused by sugar to our organs is much more limited. We will now see a whole series of strategies and advice aimed at keeping the blood sugar concentration stable over time. These attentions will allow us to preserve all the organs of our body longer and have a much healthier life over time. How to eat. Eat at regular times by dividing the diet into 3 main meals and 2 snacks. It is then necessary to eat slowly, chewing for a long time to allow a good insalivation and therefore a better digestion, as well as to reach the sense of satiety more easily. In addition, it is necessary to eat in adequate quantities to maintain a constant weight, if normal weight, and to consider a modest reduction in portions and a modest increase in physical activity to achieve a slow but progressive weight loss. Avoid commercial diets. It is important to vary your diet as much as possible, consuming fresh and seasonal products, and regularly consume bread, pasta, cereals, fruit and vegetables. Meal planning. Now we will see how it is convenient to structure meals to combat diabetes. Breakfast. The intake of sugar-free coffee or tea is free. We must try to avoid elements such as sugar, jams, honey, chocolate, fruit juices, cereals, such as cornflakes, biscuits, sweets in general. Foods such as biscuits and wholemeal croissants, despite the presence of wholemeal flour, should be avoided because, in most cases, they contain low-quality sugar and fats. In addition, it is necessary to pay close attention to products packaged with the words, "without added sugars." Substances such as concentrated apple or grape juice, corn syrup, glucose-fructose syrup, malt extract or similar are sugars. Finally, baked goods such as classic biscuits, snacks, or classic brioches that boast the absence of sucrose may contain other sugars. An example of a proper breakfast with a moderate intake of sugars is made up of partially skimmed milk or plain white yogurt. This can be accompanied by rusks, crackers or bread or cereals. In addition, fruit or dried fruit is also an excellent choice. Mid-morning and afternoon snack. For the snack, it is preferable to consume a fresh fruit that can be combined with a natural yogurt or a portion of crackers/rusks/wholemeal bread. The best glycemic response is evident with a mixed snack of carbohydrates and proteins or fats such as fruit and yogurt, bread and yogurt, or fruit and nuts. Lunch and dinner. As for lunch, you can consume a portion of a first course such as pasta or grain cereals, preferably wholemeal with simple tomato or vegetable sauces, a portion of a second course, favoring fish and lean meat and limiting cheeses and cured meats or another type of processed meat. It is always optimal to accompany everything with plenty of vegetables. For dinner you can start the meal with a broth soup or a vegetable soup. Then you can consume a portion of a second course such as meat, fish or eggs by adding a side of abundant vegetables and a portion of bread. As an alternative, you can think of a single dish such as pasta, barley, spelled, rice or other cereals, seasoned with meat, or fish, legumes, cheese, eggs and vegetables. In addition to each meal, it is necessary to foresee the consumption of a portion of pasta or rice or bread. Avoid consuming both pasta and bread in the same meal. It is important to prefer whole grains, since the fiber content in these foods is higher, therefore the glycemic response is better. Some general advice. At lunch and dinner there must always be a portion of vegetables that is raw or boiled. The fiber contained in vegetables improves the glycemic response after a meal. Raw vegetables usually promote the glycemic response. Pay attention to potatoes. They are tubers, not vegetables, so they should be eaten in place of bread or pasta and combined with a portion of raw or cooked vegetables. Legumes are particular foods that contain both starch and proteins of vegetable origin. It is good to combine them with pasta or bread, but half a portion compared to the usual one, such as pasta and beans or spelled soup with lentils. Cooking and condiments. Below I list some types of recommended cooking. The former are baked with aromas or stewed only with seeing, both without the addition of fat as a condiment. In addition, cooking in foil, steam, boiled or grilled are optimal for proper nutrition in case of diabetes or high blood sugar. As for the condiments, it is advisable to use oils of vegetable origin, and among these especially extra virgin olive oil, preferably added raw after cooking. It is also important to limit fats of animal origin, i.e. butter, lard, cream, or those with a high content of saturated fats such as tropical oils, palm oil and coconut. What and how much to drink? As for the chapter on hydration, it is important that you need to drink at least 1.5 liters of water every day, preferably natural. The consumption of unsweetened coffee and tea is advisable in moderate quantities, possibly sweetened with a moderate amount of acaloric sweeteners. It is extremely important to limit the use of alcohol, to a maximum of 1 glass of wine or beer per meal only with medical consent. Furthermore, commercial drinks such as cola, orangeade, grapefruit, Chinato, and fruit juices must be limited to the exclusion of. Tips. You have to learn to read the label of nutritional products, in particular the list of ingredients, and specifically check the carbohydrate content including sugars. The lower sugar content in the product promotes health, but one should not be afraid of complex carbohydrates and fiber. Also beware of diet products. Better avoid them and eat less processed products with fewer ingredients. In addition, it is necessary to gradually reduce the use of salt both at the table and in the kitchen. It is advisable to limit sugar and all foods that contain it as much as possible, such as candies, chocolate, honey, jam, ice cream, sweets, and all pastries in general. Among the fruits, it is better to moderate the consumption of grapes, figs, persimmons, because they are fruits that contain a lot of sugar. Try to avoid the consumption of dehydrated fruit, raisins, dried figs, dried apricots, and fruit in syrup. Finally, it is always good to remember to maintain constant and regular physical activity, if possible daily. For adults, at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week or 75 minutes of intense aerobic activity, in sessions of at least 10 consecutive minutes, and muscle strengthening exercises 2 or more times per week. We are now at the end of today's video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you found it useful, please support us with a nice like and subscribe to the channel. See you soon on Med4Care.